So thanks for joining me here. I'm at a studio, and I won't say the name, here in Hollywood, California. Usually you find me at like a theme park or a convention or something like that in these videos. This is something a little different. I see a Bacta tank behind me. That should give you a little clue. But I'm here to preview a really highly anticipated upcoming game. So join me on this preview, and I'm so excited to check this out. Someone I was hoping to meet today. BD! He's right here! Hey BD! So cool. So I just got out of the preview of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Wow. We're gonna go more in depth with it once I get back to the office. They did give us a cool little gift box and some B-roll that we're gonna throw in here so you can see some of the gameplay footage. Wow, once again, big thanks to EA and Respawn for having us out for this preview event. This was a lot of fun.
So I'm back. I'm in the office. I've changed my shirt. I feel comfortable, and I'm ready to talk about my preview session with Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So the day of my preview session, I got up early, walked over to Goya Studios in Hollywood, and Goya Studios is, for those of you who don't know, a studio set up there where they host a lot of events. They don't host so much like film and television production. It's more for previews, events, galas, that kind of thing. The Kardashians actually had a baby shower there, according to one of the security guards I spoke to. Now, I didn't see any Kardashians at Goya Studios, but I saw a whole lot of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and I'm going to get into it really soon. But first, we're going to take a look at the gift box that EA handed to me on the way out of the preview event. That is the gift box. Pretty rad, huh? So, excuse me, I'm going to open this thing up and show you what's inside of it. So the first thing that we have is a really nice art print. The next thing that's in here is a Star Wars Jedi Survivor t-shirt. And then there's one last thing in here. This is really amazing. It is the Cal Kestis lightsaber hilt. Awesome. This thing is heavy duty. It's a longer hilt, and I think that's part of one of the stances that they've talked about in the game is the crossguard stance, which is a little bit of like the Kylo Ren style lightsaber with the crossguard on it being more like a broadsword attack, so it's a little bit more, you got more power behind it, stuff like that, but it's a little slower. Wow, this is really cool. What a fantastic gift box. I actually was just at Downtown Disney over at the Galaxy's Edge trading post in Downtown Disney, and I was looking at the Cal Kestis lightsaber hilt and thinking, like, do I need this? Do I want this for the, I'm reversed, for the display shelf behind me? And I'm like, yes, I need it. And then my fiance Erin's like, no, Jerry, you really don't need this. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right, but I want it. So I don't have to get it. It was a very nice gift. I don't have a lightsaber blade to go with it yet, but I could get one. I'm pretty sure it's compatible with the ones they have over at Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. So now that we've done the obligatory unboxing and drooling over the amazing gifts in the gift box, let's talk about the preview session of Star Wars Jedi Survivor itself. Now, my preview session was from 11 to 3. It was like 3.5 hours of solid Star Wars Jedi Survivor gameplay. I got to play through a large chunk of one of the planets that Cal Kestis visits during the game. It actually starts about an hour into the game. They said that there was a more of a actual tutorial level, if you will, to go over the game's mechanics, but we didn't get a chance to take a look at that. We just kind of jumped right into this world. So what we'll do now is actually jump into some Star Wars Jedi Survivor gameplay. I'll give some commentary over the top of it so you can get some context as to what's going on. I'll give you my thoughts on the game as it stands now and my overall opinion of how it's shaping up. So here we are on Kobo. Welcome to Kobo. It's about an hour into the game and Cal Kestis has made a rough landing on the planet. He is now trying to find some parts to repair his ship, and he's running through some mines right now. One thing I was really glad to see was that they didn't nerf him at the beginning of the game in an effort to have you like rebuild his character in some way. He pretty much has all the powers and abilities he had before within reason. You don't feel like he's been you know, made lesser than at all. He starts pretty powerful and he just gets more powerful as the experience goes on. As you can see there, you can scan bad guys after you deal with them, especially if you haven't fought them before, and you get a little entry into your guidebook. Here's an NPC I encountered during my playthrough, a little pit droid whose ship is stuck. I wish I could have helped him.
Wish we could help.
Nice little double jump there. A lot of this game is using the terrain and navigating the terrain.
We're definitely getting closer.
Using your
I think I see a way out.
Maneuverability and acrobatics. Nice force push.
Count yourself lucky you can't smell.
Cal has the ability to force pull and force push at this point in the game. Not sure if he starts with it. Ah, and here we go. This was a lot of fun. A Rancor. You can see those bones on the ground. One of the techniques I used during my playthrough, and this is some generic B-roll that they provided to us to use in the video, it's pretty good quality, was to use the Force to pull one of the femurs that are there and launch it into his mouth, and it kind of stuns him for a bit. That was kind of cool. Here you can see Cal in the dual wield stance right now, which is really good for fast, aggressive play. Really trying to deal the damage to the Rancor. Just tosses one of the sabers in his hand at him. Out of all the enemies I encountered during my play, the Rancor was the toughest, and here you will see one of the reasons why. Here's a little scavenger droid. You'll find these throughout the game. If you can grab them and destroy them before they burrow into the ground, you get a little cool bunch of loot from them. Here's one of the meditation points. They are back for Jedi Survivor. While you're meditating, you can update the two stances you can switch between. Here we've got dual wield, and it looks like a single saber. You can also look at the skill tree, and there's a lot of skill trees in this game. We have survival skill trees, lightsaber technique skill trees, and actual force ability skill trees. One thing I really enjoyed about the gameplay in Star Wars Jedi Survivor is you went back and forth between fighting lots of little enemies to large enemy encounters like this. Kind of kept everything really interesting, and you had to have a good mastery of the stances you have and the skills you have to most efficiently deal with each kind of encounter you found. More of these acrobatic wall climbs and wall sprints. Another thing I love about this game is that the terrain is mostly traversable if you have the wherewithal to use your acrobatics. And a lot of creativity sometimes in terms of how you go about it. There are little various points you can interact with throughout the maps where you can gain skills. You can get force echoes and kind of get some information about stuff that happened at a location. You can also increase your life essence, which is always good. Here we get more of this creative use of the terrain.
Good to go, BD. Let's try that again.
And using BD1 to activate things while you were in a different location. These zip lines around this planet are pretty useful. Cal himself also has a portable zipline called an Ascension cable. It's a little grappling hook device that he can use to latch onto walls, grates, other objects that are marked specially for that use. You'll see an icon for them at some point coming up.
More than we do.
Here's a great encounter between battle droids and stormtroopers. So on Kobo, there is a faction known as the Bedlam Raiders, and they are plundering the planet and its inhabitants. They also make use of a lot of these battle droids that are left over from the Clone Wars.
Find something? Hurry up, buddy.
What are you doing here? Lost yourself?
There are little finishing moves that Cal does every once in a while that you can pull off if you play the combat mechanics right, that are pretty cool, like pulling someone into your lightsaber, that kind of thing.
Can't take a hit, you're gonna mess up.
Those shielded stormtroopers are a real pain. You got to be real careful to get around that shield they carry. Yes, and here we go. This is a Moku, and it's very clearly associated or related in some way to a Wampa.
BD, here.
There you saw BD administer a stim pack to Cal.
Help BD.
And Mogu's, that's a tough fight. Not quite as tough as the Rancor, but... Ah, yes, another finishing move. Some of these larger enemies have really cool finishers that you can pull off. Here we're about to see Cal use Force Confusion, which pits creatures and enemies against, well, your enemies.
Nice.
Makes them temporarily your ally, but that does wear off at some point. At one point I tried it on an enemy, and Cal kind of did an Obi-Wan Kenobi, you don't need to see his identification sort of line. Here we're about to see Cal tame a Neko. It's a bipedal creature that Cal can ride around.
We won't hurt you.
And in the demo I played, there was actually a second creature called a Belter that flew, actually kind of soared and glided around the sky. Cal could kind of hang from the bottom of them once he tamed them. I think we can show that in here in a bit.
You know,
While roaming the
saloon down at the
planet,
outpost
you
is
also
starving
can
for some live
recruit various
entertainment.
NPCs for different tasks.
Might not be a bad call. JEDI swore one of those beasts gave him some side-eye. Yeah, we're in. We'll catch you back at the outpost.
See you there.
Here we've got another example of creatively navigating the terrain. Just climbing up some netting. Throwing battle droids at one another should be a sport. It is a lot of fun. And there's one of the Bedlam Raiders. They have those like force pike looking things.
Enemy has precise target.
And there's one of the Belters. They don't have the best glide ratio, but they do get you around when you need to get around. Here's a Neko, giving Cal a boost. Definitely allows you to reach some places you normally couldn't. And this is Doma Dendra, the de facto mayor of Rambler's Reach, the little town that you're frequenting on Kobo.
Hear that, buddy?
She sells cosmetics.
That's right. Shop's built on trust and quality, and I aim to keep it that way.
I think I'll browse a little.
Here's a selection of some of the cosmetic hairdos, outfits that you can acquire.
Oh, I knew that one would catch your eye.
You can really alter Cal's look. And some of these are just awesome. And now here we are at Greez's Cantina. If you remember Greez, he was the pilot of the Mantis in Jedi Fallen Order. And now he is the proprietor of this cantina in Kobol. There you can see two of the people that were
Now
just
that looks like
recruited a bit
stage.
earlier.
Can't wait to hear what you've got. Pretty sure Greez's old jukebox predates the High Republic.
We got you, Cal. Hit up DDEC if you want to hear anything specific.
Let's see
Yes,
here.
you can select music from DDEC, like some sort of a jukebox.
Take a look at that view. Is that a giant crater? Wow. I got it so easy. Guard the cliff, crush the locals, look at the scenery. Nobody's getting past me. Not without a blaster hole in him.
I love the dialogue of the battle droids.
Good job. Then I'll get the other droids to guard the cliff. Oh, but then I won't see the scenery. Now that's a dilemma.
There's also a lot of
Seeds.
gathering
plant
in the
them,
game.
but
For instance,
where?
seeds. I didn't get a chance to play it myself, but there's a gardening aspect. So you take those seeds and you can plant them and
Can't wait to
grow
see that one
plants,
grow.
fruits, that kind of thing. And I'm pretty sure you can do something with them to get some sort of bonuses. I'm not quite sure on that point. We didn't get to explore that too much, but the fact that you see little BD planting seeds is pretty cute. And now we're looking at some of the lightsaber customization that you can do on workbenches. And there are a ton of different lightsaber parts you can gather, as well as just variations of materials. It was really cool to kind of go through it a little bit. Plus you can change your blade color, and that's just rad.
This one's ready to go.
Likewise, you can also alter BD1 by finding different part variations and whatnot. And you can also change Cal's clothing, and you can get those outfits by buying them from Doma or acquiring them throughout your journey from crates that you find along the way. Nice goat. What it needs is a mullet. Oh, there's the mullet. I think my Cal will have a mullet.
Engage the target. Cannot resist forever. Dodge executed.
And here's a quick look at some of the settings that you can find in the game. We didn't get a chance to play too much with them, but I thought it was kind of interesting to leave them in here just to see all of the visual options that you have, especially if you're playing on PC. I know that obviously Xbox Series X, next-gen consoles are going to be, very high fidelity, but PC, you definitely get a little bit more customization. You even have Fidelity FX from AMD on here, which is kind of neat. And so that was the various B-roll footage that I got from my experience with Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Now, I actually played a lot more than what you saw in the B-roll, but under NDA, I can't say anything about it, which is a real bummer because what I saw was so cool. I just can't talk about it. What I can say, though, is, and from what you've seen in this B-roll footage that I had to show you, is that the game is looking really good. When you get to Kobol, I keep wanting to say Kobol, like in Battlestar Galactica, but it's not. It's Kobo. The area that you are walking around and navigating is pretty darn huge. I don't know how much time you spend at each of these worlds that you encounter in the game, but it definitely seems like there's a lot of gameplay and a lot of more open world aspects of it. There were so many little places around the area where you could try to get into somehow and you get some, loot or one of those like force echoes or something of interest. It was also so cool to see Greez from Fallen Order. I don't have any B-roll to show you of your interactions with Greez, but that was the Greez's Cantina, and the interactions that I saw were really poignant and I think the narrative element and the story of this game and the voice acting and the motion capture, it all works so well together. I can't wait to play the whole thing. Speaking of which, the game comes out on April 28th on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, Windows PC. Doesn't look like it's going to be out for Xbox One or PlayStation 4, at least anytime soon. Also, the video that you saw of the gameplay should not be taken as final product gameplay. I don't know what version of the game I played technically. I don't know what version of the game this video footage was taken from. This is just the B-roll we had. The end product may be a little different. The lightsaber combat, the force abilities, everything worked in concert. And I think if you take some time with this game and you really learn the different attacks and controls, I think combat is going to finally look sort of like that choreographed combat we saw in Attack of the Clones, The Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith. Those really smooth, stylized, choreographed fights. I think this might be the game to do that. Another thing that I can't show you because I don't have any B-roll of it, they didn't have us take any video of it intentionally, was after the demo, they had one of the game developers play like 5 minutes of just one Cal Kestis versus tons of Stormtrooper combat sessions. And the game dev was walking us through some of the various stances that we didn't get to play. The crossguard stance, the blaster stance. I am so excited to try the crossguard and blaster stance. They are so different than what I'm used to. I mean, in Fallen Order, you didn't have crossguard or blaster. This game, you have what looks to be so many more options in terms of your lightsaber stances and all the different skills in each of those stances. The crossguard stance was it was sort of taken, obviously, I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, kind of like a Kylo Ren crossguard saber, but the style was much more like holding like a big old broadsword. And the swings that Cal Kestis was taking with him were much more powerful. They had much more of a lead-up time. They were much more slower, but they were dealing much more damage. And the blaster combat was sort of like Han Solo meets a Jedi. Like you had the lightsaber in one hand, a blaster in the other, and he was just like rocking and rolling, hacking people with his lightsaber, doing like trick shots with his pistol. It was kind of westerny. I'm excited to try out all the different skills in there. I don't know what they are. I didn't get a chance to see them, but it was really cool. So in any case, thanks again to EA and Respawn. I mean, they did have me out for a preview event and they put us up in a hotel. It was very nice of them. That gift box was crazy, but speaking honestly about it, the game looks incredible and I can't wait to play the whole thing. So that about does it for my gameplay preview of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. The game comes out on April 28th. I'm really excited to play it. If you like this content and you've been liking the kind of video content we've been bringing you the last year, 2 years now, I had a downtime where I didn't really post a lot on YouTube, but I've been trying to bring it back. Please like, subscribe, follow the channel. It really helps. YouTube's metrics are all sorts of craziness. So this is really helpful if you can do that. Thanks again.